December 7, 1941 is a historic date in mankind's history. American Navy was about to face a horrible attack and nobody was aware of that. This is Doris Miller, one of the cook in the US Navy ship. As always, Doris served breakfast to the Navy officers and started collecting the uniforms for laundry. But everything was about to change this morning. 7:57 a.m. Doris heard a siren. No sailors want to hear this siren during his service. He suddenly runs out along with the other Navy officers to identify the threat, but what they saw made them shocked. The sky was full of Japanese bomber aircraft. Japanese aircraft start bombing the naval base, and United States Army even did not get a chance to prepare themselves and counter the Japanese attack. This attack was on the United States naval base named Pearl Harbor. But why Japanese attack so bravely on the United States naval base? Why was a cook awarded by the United States? And why United States dropped a nuclear bomb on Japan? Let's find out in today's video. The story of this history starts in 1941. Where United States pull all its effort to save China. Yes, exactly the same China who is considered an open enemy of the United States in 2023. World War II was at its peak, where Germany and Italy was on one side and Britain, Netherlands and France on another side. America was totally neutral and was not a part of this war due to the huge loss and financial crisis during World War I. America wanted to stay away from the ongoing war in Europe and Asia. But there was one country that constantly kept America worried, and that was Japan. Due to the lack of natural resources, Japan was constantly attacking nearby countries to fulfill the need of natural resources. Most of the areas of Korea, Taiwan, and China were already captured by Japan. And in the Pacific Ocean, Malaysia, Indonesia and the Philippines were also under surveillance by Japan and planning to attack. But the problem was that Malaysia was the colony of Britain, Indonesia was the colony of Netherlands and Philippines was under United States. These countries were totally against the Japanese continued attacks on the other countries and capturing them. Because Japan was backed by Hitler and Hitler was the big enemy of Britain and the United States. To stop Japan by capturing the nearby countries, America took the initiative and stopped providing oil to Japan. Japan does not have its own natural resources of oil and they were importing 80% of its oil from America at that time. America put a condition in front of Japan that if Japan wants oil from America, they have to pull back their troops from China. This was a hard condition for Japan and led them worried. And that was a time-changing moment for Japan to take a wise decision. But the problem was that if Japan accepts American conditions and pull back its troops from China, the other countries will think that Japan surrendered to America, even having full support from Hitler. But on the other side, if they refuse, Japan will face a terrible oil crisis and will automatically lose its hold on other countries that they have already conquered. But Japan took a bold decision and decided not to pull back their troops from China. Japanese generals made a plan to attack Indonesia for oil. As we know, Indonesia was the colony of Netherlands at that time. But to reach Indonesia, Japan has to pass by Philippines first, and Philippines was also a colony of America at that time. Japan definitely knew that if they attack Philippines first, the United States will not keep silent and they will counter-attack Japan from the nearby base of Pearl Harbor located in the Pacific Ocean. But Japan was running out of oil and they have no choice. And finally Japanese army decided to attack first America's Pearl Harbor base instead of Indonesia. And after destroying the Pearl Harbor base, Japan can easily capture Philippines. After taking the final decision, Japan started preparation of attack fleet. And this fleet was consisted of 2 battleships, 39 submarines, 30 destroyers and 414 bomber aircrafts. All these aircrafts were loaded on 6 aircraft carriers deployed in the Pacific Ocean. On the other hand, American Pearl Harbor base was also well equipped, having 8 battleships, 59 anti-aircraft ships, 390 aircrafts and 4 submarines. Comparing both sides, it was quite easy to say that American could easily defend the Pearl Harbor base. But that was only possible if America had solid information about this attack. And Japanese wanted to keep this mission top secret, and all units were instructed to stay away from any source of communication before attack. And finally this massive fleet was dispatched and traveled 8,000 kilometers and reached to the point where the distance between Japanese fleet and Pearl Harbor base was only 370 kilometers. That was the main point from where all of the bomber aircrafts were preparing to fly and attack Pearl Harbor. This attack was going to be the biggest attack during World War II. December 7, 1941, 350 Japanese bomber aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor in 2 groups. American troops were completely shocked by this surprise attack. The first group of gunship aircrafts used all of the ammunitions on American troops and turned back to their fleet. The American troops thought that attack is over, but suddenly the second group of bomber aircraft appeared after 10 minutes and heavily bombed the Pearl Harbor base. This attack lasted for 1 hour and 15 minutes. 20 vessels had battle-shaped and more than 300 aircraft were destroyed in parking position, and US Navy even did not get a chance to use them. During that time, Doris Miller, a cook whom we discussed in the starting of the video, was on one battleship. During the laundry collection, Doris heard the siren and panicked. He ran out to see what was happening out there. Before he reached outside, a Japanese torpedo hit his ship, and the captain of the ship was badly injured along with other officers. Doris started helping the injured officers and took them to a safe place and ran toward the anti-aircraft machine gun and started shooting the Japanese aircrafts. Even without having a training, he shot down 6 of the Japanese aircrafts, and Japan lost a total of 29 aircraft during this attack. Doris was the first American African who was honored with the Navy Cross. America, who was neutral during World War II, was pulled by Japan into war after this attack, and that's how America jumped in World War II. America declared war against Japan.
The American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
And for the next 3 months, American worked on the restoration of the destroyed base. Luckily, some of the ships were sunk in shallow water and were in repairable condition. And finally, after 4 months, America attacked Tokyo in April 1942. That was the first attack of America during World War II, but not the last. For the next 4 years, the war was keep going, and Japan was badly damaged during this war. But they don't want it to surrender and keep fighting. And finally, on August 1945, America decided to use a nuclear bomb on Japan. August 6, 1945, one Boeing B-29 Super Fortress dropped a 4,400 kg Little Boy bomb on Hiroshima, and exactly after 43 seconds, the bomb exploded and everything turned white. The flame made a mushroom shape going up to the sky, and the temperature on Earth reached to 5,000 Celsius. That was the first nuclear attack in mankind's history, which turned everything into ashes. 80% of the Hiroshima buildings were wiped from the surface in seconds. And that was the time when Japanese generals lost their control. And exactly after 3 days, on the 9th of August 1945, America dropped another bomb on Nagasaki. That was Mercury bomb with the code name Fat Man. This 4,670 kg heavy bomb wiped the whole city from the surface of Earth. An estimated 260,000 people died during Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks. And 1 week later, after these attacks, Japan surrendered to America, and that's how World War II finally ended.